welcome to the Rivalz podcast, the show where two friends who are fans of rival teams talk about sports. We're your hosts, Drew and Noah, and today we're going to be taking you back through this whole NFL season. So enjoy.
Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
Mutation at one point was a possibility, and now 693 days later, here he is coming back on an NFL football field.
And there's Kyle Allen heading into the locker room. And August 29th, during training camp, was the first time that Alex Smith had gotten back into an 11-on-11 situation. Still has yet to have been hit in practice at this point. So as soon as he gets contacted, that's his first hit since that gruesome injury.
And he's going to throw and complete it to McKissick. And McKissick gets it out to the 40-yard line.
The announcement of the new Hall of Fame class.
Victory formation. For the first time in 18 years, the Cleveland Browns are going to the playoffs.
The virus delivering a hard hit to the NFL.
One thing the NFL really plans to do this year is take as many precautions as possible just to keep everybody safe.
And one more note on the coronavirus this Sunday, as new infections have caused the NFL to shuffle their schedule for a second time in a week.
Yeah, a lot of things happened this year. We're going to be going through pretty much all of them today with our episode. Here's our schedule for today, as always, pretty much all focused around the season rewind. That's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be a long one, but yeah, let's get your popcorn. And let's go.
This will be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
This is where we'll start it off, obviously, following last season, where the Chiefs defeated the 49ers in the Super Bowl. That led us to this season. And, you have to tell everyone just how great the season had already started off back in March.
Yep, back in March, everyone thought COVID was coming around. People were scared. People thought the football season wouldn't even be happening, but the off season continued through it. We still weren't worried, but the NFL got through it. They made some new restrictions. It was all good. But here are a few of the bigger signings and trades. So yeah, Drew, you go off with the signings.
Tom Brady signing with the Buccaneers for a 2-year deal. That was the biggest of all offseason. Bigger than any trade or signing.
Yeah.
Tom Brady signed with the Buccaneers, ending the era with New England.
Yep, who lied to us.
Also, Philip Rivers signing a 1-year deal with the Colts. It was almost a sad moment for all NFL fans to see him leave, because he's the greatest quarterback in Chargers history. And future Hall of Famer, and he left to go to Indy. But it's NFL, that's how the NFL works. And also one other signing that I didn't even know this happened until a few days after, because it wasn't like that big headline like Brady was. Chris Harris signing a 2-year deal with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Obviously he's a shutdown corner, played for the Broncos if you didn't know. And it was a huge signing.
We didn't hear too much of him this season, but it was a big signing at the time. Everyone thought it was a good pickup for the Chargers at the time. They needed help on their defensive side a little bit with their yeah. So now let's go to some trades.
The few trades. We're not going to go into every last detail of them, but
all of these trades actually were blockbuster deals at the time. So
and we would have put more if we could have fit them, but we don't want to bore you all day about the trades and free agent signings. So
we'll switch off. I'll go with my Vikings and Bills trade. I think everyone knows about this one. it was a really big win-win for both teams, and this is the Stephon Diggs trade. The Vikings traded Stephon Diggs and pick.
And this happened. I remember DMing Noah about it, and he didn't respond for like 40 minutes.
I was crying. I mean, okay. If anyone, well, I haven't said this ever, but Stephon Diggs, I don't have a favorite player on the Vikings right now because Stephon Diggs has been my favorite since I was little, since he got drafted. And I've had a jersey for him. I got a jersey even before the Minneapolis Miracle. I'm not a bandwagon. And yeah, Diggs was like a huge inspiration for me. I loved to see him play. So when they traded him, I was heartbroken. And when I saw we only got picks,
you only got picks at the time.
At the time, I thought this is the dumbest trade ever. I hate the Vikings. I hate this organization. And I still have my Diggs jersey. I still respect Diggs. I don't think he's a bad person or anything. But
yeah, football's a business.
I am blaming Kirk Cousins because I just don't. Okay, Kirk Cousins he's improved though. At the time, I was very mad at Kirk Cousins because Diggs wasn't liking this quarterback situation. But the pick that they gave us did turn into something, and we'll get to that.
And then next trade, Seahawks and Jets. Obviously, we're not going to forget the other trade, but Seahawks and Jets, Jamal Adams, a few days before the season even started. And it was a huge trade, obviously. He wanted out of the Jets, who they weren't a great system. And yeah, the rest is history with Adams, a Pro Bowler. He was insane again, like always. But obviously, Jets getting a few picks that will be coming after this year. So they'll have a few first-round picks and later picks. And there's where we go to this could go down as the dumbest trade in NFL history.
One of the biggest trades in NFL history, for that matter.
And can I just say, what was going through Bill O'Brien's mind when he gets David Johnson from the Cardinals and a 4th-round pick for possibly the Texans' greatest wide receiver in their history of a franchise, possibly other than Andre Johnson. And Hopkins is basically the best receiver in the NFL, and you just give him away for David Johnson, who he wasn't great this year. Like, he wasn't a running back like in his prime a few years ago. It was the dumbest trade and a 4th-round pick. I'd understand if they got 5 first-round picks. That's what he's worth. But,
yeah, this was a pretty horrible trade by the Texans. Bill O'Brien, what are you thinking? I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is I think everyone has to agree that he's the best Texans receiver in history. Best player in the NFL right now. Andre Johnson is an amazing player, but just DeAndre Hopkins is just on another level of amazing.
So
I don't know what they were thinking.
A few heartbreaking things going on through fans' minds at that time, through that
Texans
offseason.
fans. I'm sorry.
Okay. But then here's where the picks come in. We have the draft.
We have our draft. Yep. We put the entire draft here. We're not gonna stay on this slide for a while. I mean,
you understand.
Yeah, we'll go through obviously. A few people. We'll go through. Joe Burrow was obviously going to be the first pick. Everyone knew it. One of the best quarterbacks. Chase Young, 2nd pick. Let's go through some of the later picks that turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, there are a few. Obviously, this might be one of the biggest draft classes for wide receivers ever.
Yeah.
I'm going to name pretty much all of them. Obviously, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk. There's many more that came in later rounds that were studs this year. But this is just the first round. You can look it up on NFL.com to see the full draft from last year.
Yeah, we don't want to bore you. You don't have to read all through this. You can pause the video if you'd like to. But yeah, so we're gonna go to who we think our draft summary. Who we think was a disappointment this year. Who we think was an amazing pick this year. So starting off with, we'll start off on a good note. We'll go with the good picks. We got Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. Yep, Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. So he was selected by the Chargers. Had an amazing season, 36 touchdowns. Yeah. And, you know, who I think should have been Rookie of the Year as a Vikings fan? No one can tell me otherwise. Don't even try it, Drew. And Justin Jefferson, selected by the Vikings.
Yeah.
This was actually by the Bills pick, which is why this could have been one of the like most win-win trades for two teams in a very long time. Each team got a really great receiver. We got off Diggs' contract, or we didn't have to pay him, and we got a rookie who has a bright future in the NFL. So now moving on to Jeremy Chin, selected by the Panthers. He was again. I watched this live against the Vikings. He's the first player ever to go back-to-back scoop and scores. If you don't know what a scoop and score is, it's picking up the ball off of a fumble a fumble, and you pick it up and take it back for a touchdown. And he did that on back-to-back plays. I was heartbroken, but I was also impressed as to how that was crazy. So Drew, you can take it away from here.
Yeah, and then the last two, Patrick Queen and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, both huge players, both LSU Tigers. So Patrick Queen missed out by the Packers, and we've gone to some disappointments. Don't need to mention the first one.
We do need to mention the first one because this is one of the dumbest picks of the entire draft. We have Jordan Love selected by the Packers. Yes, the Packers who have an MVP quarterback. Yeah, those Packers selected a quarterback first round.
They're at the same team. But just to clarify, I'm not going to rage on about how mad I was that day and how mad I still am.
Yeah, I texted Drew that day. What are the Packers doing?
And he didn't play a whole snap. He was our third string quarterback this year.
Hey, we never know though. He didn't play a snap. He could be the best. He could turn into the best quarterback of all time when he plays.
Okay, and AJ Terrell by the Falcons. He was. I don't want to go down on him and tell everyone how bad he was.
But you can look at the stats that we put there, and
he gave up 69% of his passes attempted, and one interception. He was, I don't want to say terrible, but he wasn't good. He was not good at all.
Not great.
And then we have one other player, Jalen Reagor by the Eagles. The Eagles, it looked like the perfect pick for the perfect position. What you think? Justin Jefferson was available.
Yep.
And you, Jalen Reagor.
You know, thanks to the Eagles, we have an amazing wide receiver. So yeah, gotta thank them, even though I hate them for what they did to us in the conference championship in 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. So Jalen Reagor was, he had 400 yards, one touchdown on the year. That's not like horrible stats, but just what could have been is really what this is about. So yeah,
I don't know what was going through those three teams' minds, including the Packers, when they drafted those guys, because if you look at the players that were available when they drafted them, it's not like it was the only option, the best option. It was not good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still mad about Jordan Love. I don't know what to think. Could you imagine if Patrick Queen was on the Packers? What we would have been like against the Buccaneers?
Could you imagine if Justin Jefferson? I guess Justin Jefferson. He wasn't available, but
still.
You can't just. Yeah. These guys were.
So, NFL, the regular season now.
You know, we see this is weeks. We're gonna go through quarters of the season. We're going weeks 1 through 4 first. This is where we got a general idea of who's gonna be good this year, who's gonna be bad this year. Yeah. So here we have the power rankings for each for their top 5 teams in the NFL. We have at 1 Kansas City Chiefs, undefeated at the time. Yeah, I mean, they came off a Super Bowl. Everyone knew they were going to be good, and they were proving that they are good. 2, we have the Seahawks. The Seahawks were undefeated at this time. They were Russell Wilson was looking like the MVP at this point in time. And, yeah, they were rolling with that new acquired defense, kind of. And then we have, take it away from here, Drew.
Yeah, and obviously you see the few headlines we put here. And Jacksonville, it speaks for itself.
You can look at the tweet. There's a reason why we put it on here that you'll see.
And then we put a score for each week. I'm not going to say exactly what each.
This was basically who we think was
we did for each week 1 score, like a huge score, but my Packers are on there, defeating New Orleans. And so we'll go on to week number 2, where the Atlanta Falcons
blew a lead. Common theme. I mean,
you just drafted A.J. Terrell. You got a few defensive guys. Got Dante Fowler Jr. And you blow I think 20-something point lead.
The Atlanta Falcons had
an onside kick. Apparently, if someone kicks an onside kick, you run away. Is what they think. So
the Atlanta Falcons had a few flashbacks this season to Super Bowl against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So,
and then week 3 and 4 we see. So weeks now 5 through 8. Yes. 5 through 8.
Well, before that, let's just go over a few headlines we put. It's like what we thought during this time. Chiefs still best team in the NFL, obviously. Buffalo Bills proving to be a great team. Josh Allen was looking amazing. Diggs trade was working out for them well. Right at this point in the season, it looked like they won that trade by a landslide. The Vikings were 0-4 at this time. So we're going, and then we have Russell Wilson, top of the MVP race. Houston was also 0-4 at the time. Mrs. DeAndre Hopkins.
And then we have here, the next one. Nick Bosa and Saquon Barkley. They are 2 of the biggest injuries at this point in the season. Missing the whole year. Torn ACL and I think Achilles. So they both missed the whole season. Obviously, it was huge for the Niners. Giants, maybe a little bit. So, and then Jacksonville just speaks for itself.
Just Jacksonville. You can look up their record. Pause the video, look up their record, see why we put it there if you don't know. Moving on.
So the NFL's weeks 5 through 8. Power rankings, we'll see the Chiefs at the top, and then 5th, goes all the way to 5th, where the Saints were a 5-2 team, but still looked great. Had won 4 in a row at the time. We're looking great. And so the score is there, you see them. Obviously, Seahawks lost their first game of the season in there. And, what else? Miami proved to be, they proved themselves against the Rams, like they were playoff contenders. And here's the biggest headline at the time, or a few of them. The Steelers were the only undefeated team in the NFL. But they didn't look like they looked like a tough defense, but their offense wasn't impressing anybody.
Everyone was just thinking, what's happening here? Why are they 7-0? This is crazy.
And it's not like they had the easiest schedule in the NFL. They had one of the easiest, but they still had a few tough games.
They did win a few tough games.
They were in one of the hardest divisions in football. They beat the Browns, romped over them, beat the Ravens. So at this point they were 7-0.
I think everyone knew. I think everyone thought that. I don't think anybody thought, unless you're a Steelers fan, maybe thought that they'd go 16-0. But it's impressive. for the Steelers to go 7-0, and it looked like they were going to be a playoff team, at least secure the division.
Yeah, and then here, this was, and we don't say all of them, but this was the biggest story in all of football. At this second, when Dak Prescott got out for the year with that gruesome ankle injury, and I don't recommend looking it up. It was an ugly injury.
Do not look it up. It's his ankles the wrong way.
And here's one more injury this one's probably one of the most gruesome in NFL history. Obviously, Alex Smith's injury, and he was on the field in one of his first plays. He gets tackled by Aaron Donald really hard in between four guys. But so those are weeks 5 through 8.
Yeah, Alex Smith it was amazing. He could have died. He was gonna have his leg amputated. It was bad, and he somehow got back on the field, and he completed his first pass. So
we'll go to weeks 9 through 12. Before we get into the power rankings, you'll see we don't want to post this video, but Broncos quarterback issue,
oof.
It was a bummer.
Let's look at the power rankings first. We'll go with the Chiefs 11-1, best team in the NFL still, according to power rankings wise. New Orleans 10-2, Green Bay 9-3, Pittsburgh 11-0, Buffalo Bills 9-3. These were all great. Most of these teams, everyone thought still the Steelers are still an undefeated team.
Everyone had them at 4 or 5 or even 6, some of the power rankings, and they were the only undefeated team in the league.
Yeah, so we have
and this headline was, I recommend that everyone pause this video, and if you don't watch football, you're going to want to if you watch the Hail Murray play where DeAndre Hopkins mossed 4 Bills defenders.
That was amazing.
It wasn't third string or second string guys. It was Micah Hyde, Taron Johnson, multiple guys who are all pros, pro bowlers for the Bills. And
I didn't watch it live, but I saw it. I showed it everyone around me. It was crazy. I was shocked. That was probably best play of the year. No question, actually. Best play of the year. A few things. We got Saints rolling without Breeze. Breeze went down. Several broken ribs and a lung puncture. That was that came back to bite him a lot in the playoffs and when he came back.
But obviously I was mad at the time, but the Saints they got themselves to 10-2 without Breeze.
Yeah, Taysom Hill was rolling at quarterback. And now we got Tua. Is Tua a hero? He was doing amazing. Fitzmagic is gone. Is Tua magic here? I mean...
But then all of a sudden the Dolphins lose to the Broncos, and it's like second guessing yourself. But so those are weeks 9 through 12. We'll all go into the home stretch here.
Also, one more thing. Just if you didn't know about the whole Broncos situation, we didn't explain it much. Basically, Broncos, all of their quarterbacks were either injured or had COVID restrictions. So they started a wide receiver from their practice squad, whose name is Kendall Hinton, at quarterback, and he didn't get his first completion until, I think, the third quarter. That was, Oh, also, huge headline. I don't know how we missed this. Joe Burrow.
Oh, okay. Another injury.
Yeah.
By far, one of the biggest injuries of the whole season. He was looking like such a good draft pick. Obviously the number 1 pick, and he was having an incredible rookie season. And he tears his ACL, and he is out for the rest of the year, and it hurt the Bengals. Bengals weren't contending for the playoffs, but it still hurt them.
And Bengals, I think everyone knew that Joe Burrow was going to have a tough time in the pocket because they need an offensive line. if you're gonna draft the best quarterback in college football, you need to have a offensive line to support him.
And he missed the rest of this year, but so
we'll see you next year, I guess.
Yeah, and here, didn't miss anything else, but so we'll go on to the home stretch, weeks 13 until 17. It all started with the headlines. It's time to switch it up, but nothing big here. Obviously, Jets, they won their first game, and not only did they beat the Rams, they beat 2 playoff teams in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously, they clearly do not know how to tank, but
they lost their number one draft pick to that.
And here's the last day of the season. The Bears, the Browns, and the Colts all got into the playoffs. Obviously, Colts and Browns winning. Cleveland, we'll talk about that in a second, but Bears, they lost, and they still got in, luckily. And so that was the last day of the season. I was so mad.
Yeah, a few other things. We got Jaguars. We're very satisfied with 1-0 as they secured Trevor Lawrence at the end of the season. And we have the Alvin Kamara makes history with it was Christmas. Merry Christmas, Alvin Kamara against my Vikings. Had 6 touchdowns, tied the NFL record. Could have had 7 if Sean Payton didn't have some kind of love affair with Taysom Hill, but yeah.
So, and obviously power rankings, Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Packers 3. Bills and Packers both 13-3, and then the Saints at 4, and the Ravens making their way into the top 5.
But
it's shocking.
A lot of things happened this year, but or not this year. These few weeks. I think the biggest thing, probably the biggest thing that happened these few weeks was Washington dethroning the Steelers.
It was a primetime game, and this was when the Steelers got exposed and proved that they weren't unstoppable on defense, and Washington proved that they were a quality football team, and
they made the playoffs after that, too.
That, obviously, the biggest score of the year was Cleveland beating Pittsburgh. Obviously, Pittsburgh won the division, so they benched all their players. But there's past years where teams have benched players and they still beat the team.
So yeah, you have to give props to Cleveland for securing their playoff spot for the first time in 18 years, for that matter. And yeah, I think we can all agree that was the regular season, amazing regular season. Even though COVID didn't have fans come in, the NFL, at least the NFL was there, and it was a great season. So moving on.
It was definitely fun to watch.
Moving on to the
playoffs. Before we go on to the playoffs, which was very exciting, we'll just put here, obviously, not the full standings for all the teams. Sorry if we didn't get your team who tanked and got a top 10 draft pick, but we did the playoff standings for almost a bracket, and so you'll see them in a sec where we summarize the wild card weekend and then go through until the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But Kansas City, they each being a 1 seed, so that's what we'll start with.
New playoff format, actually. New playoff format. They just tried out the whole bracket thing, and so this year the changes were only one team from each conference gets the bye. Those 2 teams were Green Bay and Kansas City, as Drew said, and all the other teams would go against their corresponding standings. So 2-7, 3-6.
Yeah.
If you guys watch NBA, then you guys will know it's pretty much the NBA format, except the number 1 seeds get a bye. So, yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, that's where we'll start with new Super Wild Card Weekend. We all, but we don't do headlines this time. Obviously, we'll put some, but scores. Obviously, Buffalo beating India at home, Rams defeating Seattle, and Tampa Bay barely hanging on against Taylor Heineke.
Was
up Saturday to begin the playoffs. And
so let's just say our reactions to Saturday. So, what did you think for these 3 games, Drew? I'll give my opinion after yours.
Okay, so I thought first game, I wasn't shocked. Bills are a really good football team. Colts don't have a great offense and were not able to score. They had a chance game. They were in field goal range and then got penalty. They got out through the Hail Mary, couldn't complete it. But so that was that game. Rams Seattle, I was not shocked that the Rams won. I feel like the second game was a fluke that the Rams lost to Seattle to lose the division. So that's that game. And the third one, my reaction is pretty basic. Like, where did Taylor Heineke come from to nearly beat Tom Brady?
Yeah.
So let me hear your opinion on this.
All right. So Indiana Buffalo game. I didn't think anything of it either. I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be so close. But Philip Rivers retired after this, so that was a. I didn't know that. I only got the news that Philip Rivers was retiring. I think when did he announce it? Only like right before the game, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, he said there's a possibility he was going to retire, and then announced it official about a week later, or half a week. But, yeah, he said it almost was made clear that he was probably going to retire and not sign a contract.
Yep.
But, okay, next game, what do you think?
So, Rams Seattle. We have a few friends who are Rams fans. So I don't know I didn't really predict anything for this game. I mostly thought that I had a feeling that the Rams would win, and I was a bit shocked that the Rams won because Russell Wilson was playing amazing in the beginning of the year. He kind of stepped down a little bit at end of the year, but Seahawks are usually a good team in the playoffs. They usually get taken down more later rounds. Yeah.
Divisional. Yeah. But this year, Rams defeating them.
Yeah, Jared Goff got the job done. And his job is now done with the Rams too. So, I mean, we're now Taylor Heineke. The Taylor Heineke show. I was convinced that.
Yeah, and then 2 days ago, from the time we're filming this, he just signed a few days ago, he just signed a 2-year contract. He is now making millions of dollars with Washington.
Yeah, there was a story that came out of how Taylor Heineke was on the Patriots practice squad, and he walked into the film room with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady said, "Who are you?" And he said that I'm a quarterback, and they studied film together. So that was pretty cool that they're going against each other in the Super Wild Card Weekend. I thought Alex Smith was determined out for this game, and I pretty much knew that their season was over, but Taylor Heineke put up a crazy fight. I didn't think it would even be this close, but Heineke put up a fight, sadly lost, but it's hard to take down the GOAT on your first NFL start.
So that's where we go the second day. We'll just go through this quickly and move on to the next week. But Baltimore defeating Tennessee by 7. Chicago they just couldn't beat New Orleans. That's how you can say it.
Broadcasted on Nickelodeon.
We both had the same reaction on the first two. Not surprised on them. The only thing I was surprised about in Tennessee is that Henry, if Baltimore would have beaten Tennessee, but Henry had 4 touchdowns, I wouldn't have been shocked. But he just held over 100 yards. Yeah, so again, to wrap up our Super Wild Card Weekend, the Browns taking on the Steelers, hoping to at least get some points. Obviously, they've gotten blown out early in the season against Pittsburgh. But to start off the game on the first drive, first play, Pittsburgh ball goes out over the head of Roethlisberger, and suddenly Cleveland's up 7-0. Next drive for Pittsburgh, interception, Cleveland scores quickly. Next drive, punt, Cleveland scores quickly. Next drive, same thing, interception, Cleveland scores quickly. Early in the first quarter, 28-0 already.
That was just probably. I think that was the most unexpected game of the playoffs. That was crazy. I think no one was particularly. I don't think anyone thought that the Pittsburgh would blow them out, but we thought the Pittsburgh might. We didn't think it would be a blowout within the first 6 minutes.
If anyone thought Cleveland would win, we'd think it's going to be they barely win the game. The score. No one look at the score. The score lies to you and says it's an 11-point game. It really wasn't. Pittsburgh came back at the end with a few touchdowns. Roethlisberger had over 500 yards, but really it was a 20-plus point game at the end of regulation is what it should have been.
So we're gonna now, after a wild card weekend, we saw the teams that advanced, and we went on to a divisional round of the playoffs. We had 4 games. We had 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. The first 2 on Saturday were
my Packers. I was not available for 3.5 straight hours. Where I got nervous. I personally got nervous. Wasn't expecting to be nervous, but I definitely was when all of a sudden we had a big lead, 15-point lead, and we started. It looked like we're going to choke. Then it's 25-16. They go for 2. They don't get it. It's like the touchdown was useless, and they run a trick play on it, and it's a 7-point game. And I'm like, oh no, we're going to blow this. This isn't Seattle 2014 again. But turns out we got one big bomb to Lazard.
Yeah, that one really sealed the game there.
We defeated them 32-18. Cleveland playing Kansas City. I don't really have an opinion on this, other than I'm shocked that Kansas City won in the end with Chad Henne.
There was a questionable.
I wasn't shocked at all.
There was a questionable helmet-to-helmet penalty.
And then that's where we're bringing probably the dumbest rule in the NFL. But
yeah. It's not. I don't think it's a dumb rule. The helmet-to-helmet is a dumb rule. Exactly.
No,
I just think you have to be consistent.
The ball out of bounds is.
Yeah, you have to be consistent with it, though. You have to be consistent with it. And they didn't call it that time, and that cost the Browns a touchdown. So, all I have to say is anything is possible. But, yeah.
Did not have to.
Yeah. Okay, but that's okay.
That is you get no viewers, people.
Okay. Please don't click off the video, okay? It was one bad joke. Alright, we're going on to Sunday to save myself and everyone else from... Okay. Moving on to Sunday. Baltimore Buffalo starts out the game. Not a too exciting game, I'd say.
Obviously, Buffalo had a 10-3 lead until a late third quarter with about 30 seconds left. And this was pretty much the dagger when it happened. Lamar Jackson couldn't move the ball at all. He's finally moving the ball. It's first and goal. You're down 7. You have your first chance to really tie the game. And you throw a 99-yard pick 6.
Yeah. I don't really have much of an opinion on this game. Low scoring game. Lamar couldn't really get it going too much, but at least you won a playoff game this playoff season. But yeah, so we have Bills Mafia moving on. And then after that, we have probably the most exciting game of. You could say the Chiefs-Cleveland game was more exciting, but one of the most exciting games of the playoffs was Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Yeah, so Tampa Bay, New Orleans. I don't really know. It was an interesting game. Tampa Bay, I came into it thinking the Saints were going to win the Super Bowl because, well, they were going to win at least because they beat them both times in the regular season, but I guess playoff Tom Brady is just built different, and he came out with a dub. So, Drew, any...
that takes us to the NFC and AFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah, and Drew Brees retired after that as well.
So that was sad a little bit. And we don't talk too much about... We don't need to talk about too much about this, but Tampa Bay...
I think we should talk about the Packers losing.
Okay, first time. We talked about the Vikings earlier, so I'll give you a fair chance. First, we'll just do the Bills. This was the later game, but we'll do it first anyway. Bills, Kansas City's just too good. And so they won by 14, but yeah, you take it away here. I have no words.
So, I text, okay. Well, let's go first off. Questionable officiating. It wasn't horrible officiating. It was on and off. Tom Brady obviously went to his 10th Super Bowl after this. Rodgers, the Packers really just couldn't get it going much. Their defense was just letting up scores. It wasn't working out. And now we're gonna go to.
I told you you'd take the lead on this, but one thing I have to add is we got our chances. It wasn't the refs. The refs kind of weren't great the whole game, but we got our chances off of 3 interceptions. We couldn't score any of them.
Yeah, it wasn't the refs at all. Actually, a lot of people blame the refs, but the Packers had too many opportunities to score that they could have scored. But so we'll go to second half. We have nothing much happened until fourth quarter. They kind of stopped the Buccaneers a little bit. They give the offense a lot of opportunities to score. They don't until about a 2-minute warning-ish. And they score. They score a touchdown. Or no, they don't score a touchdown, actually. No, they get down to close to the red zone. And they, all right, let's set the stage. It's third down. So there's about 2 minutes, 30 seconds left, maybe. Something like that. Rodgers they drop back. Rodgers drops back to pass. Can't find anyone. Steps up in the pocket. Tries to find someone. Can't find it. Tampa Bay's covering everyone. He has a lane to get to the 1 or 2 yard line, or if he somehow got to the touchdown, to the end zone, I don't know. Rodgers looks like he's going to take off, but he forces one in to, I don't know who the receiver was, who he forced it into, but he tried to force one in between 2 Buccaneers defenders, incomplete pass. So, a lot of people said Rodgers could have ran it in for a touchdown. I don't think he could have got it for a touchdown. I think he could have gotten it to the first or second yard line. Yeah. And they could have they could have sneaked it or ran it in with their running back. So, but then, everyone thinks they have to go for it, otherwise they're gonna lose. They decide to take a field goal, which it was a dumb decision. Yeah, in my opinion, it was a dumb decision because why would you go for it? Why wouldn't you go for it on fourth down? Drew has left the Zoom meeting. I don't think he wants to relive this traumatizing experience, but I'm gonna keep talking about it. Why would you go? Why would you put the game in the hands of your defense, who couldn't stop Tom Brady for pretty much the entire game? Why? It's just stupid to me, because we all know what happened afterwards. Aaron Rodgers commented on it after. He said that this was not his decision. So Matt LaFleur, I just want to tell you why. Ask why. Andrew's back here because from his, I don't think he wanted to relive that experience.
Oh, okay, so on to the Super Bowl, right? Okay.
No, I'm not done. Kevin King. Actually, no, I'm just going to hand it off to you to talk about Kevin King.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is one thing I'll be happy to talk about. I said before, like, when's this dude's contract up? I don't mean anything hate. I don't have any hate on. It's in a playful way almost. I have hate on Kevin King. I wish him luck if he leaves our team. I hope he's the greatest cornerback ever. But I'm still mad that he kind of blew the game for us at most points. So that's all I can say. So, okay, now we're ready to go on to the Super Bowl. We don't need to talk about that anymore. You've had enough of your time. So,
all right, Super Bowl.
This will be the last thing we talk about here with regards to the NFL season this year. It ended in an anticlimactic way.
Yeah.
How you could put it.
Yeah, I don't really. I think we all watched the Super Bowl pretty lackluster, to be honest. Just because of how, I don't know. It was a blowout the entire game. There wasn't much hope for those Chiefs throughout the game. Mahomes couldn't really put anything together. He tried. He was running for his life the entire game. Brady got his 7th ring. I don't want to get too much into it because we've already made a video on our reactions. But yeah, what's your opinions on it, Drew?
I don't even want to talk about it. That's how boring it was. Obviously, exciting for Tampa Bay fans. It was so fun to watch for them, but as an NFL fan, I'm just like, it could have been a closer game and I would have had more fun watching. I left halfway through after the halftime show and came back for mid-fourth quarter, and it's still 31-9. So I didn't miss anything. But
so
obviously, Tampa Bay's just, they didn't look like it mid-season. They're the best team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I guess so. You got to say it because they won the Super Bowl, but
so that's where we'll end this recap.
This was an amazing NFL season.
It was a unpredictable NFL season of uncertainty that happened. Turns out it happened. It was great to watch through it all till the end, and it was just, there were so many great moments through it all, and
that was just it's been an amazing.
The official NFL season isn't over, but we're just doing this since the regular season and the playoffs are over. But
yeah, I think everyone can classify it as over.
Then we'll see the NFL next season.
Yeah,
obviously,
next season.
Those regular season predictions, previews, all that.
We're gonna have a lot more NBA episodes probably. Sometimes, if nothing happens for like an entire month or something in the NFL, then maybe we'll make 2 NBA videos. But yeah, NFL started our channel, and it'll continue on until, I don't know, whenever.
Yeah. So, and before we end this, one thing that we'd like to say is that we mentioned it briefly before, but a few weeks from now, two weeks from today, there will not be an episode. 2 or 3 weeks from today, because
we gotta some stuff to do.
I would be out, so they want to do it, so I will be out for that week. And we'll return though with a huge episode on the Monday following. So that's that. But
yeah, it'll be fun. So
thank you all for watching.
Thanks for watching.
If you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe, comment any video ideas or how much you like it.
And coming up on,
thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, and coming up on screen right here is going to be our last video. The NBA All-Star Game, our draft, and
that was a fun one.
That was a really fun one, and our season 1 playlist for this year. So yeah, comment down below what you thought of this season, how Did you think it was fun? Did you not like it? Yeah, we'd love to see your thoughts, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.